Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Mirabella, and I'm a Spanish to English literary translator based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the US. I'd like to share with you a reading from my forthcoming debut book-length translation, The Cracks We Bear, by Chilean author Catalina Infante, due out from World Editions this November 2025. Catalina and I have been collaborating as author and translator since early 2020, and this publication marks a debut for both of us. The Cracks We Bear is a story about new motherhood, but also about daughterhood and grief. The protagonist, Laura, loses her mother to cancer at 18, and, among other things, she is left with her mother's, quote, box full of pictures and postcards she'd written while in exile, close quote. This box appears throughout the novel and is something Laura keeps going back to in order to try to understand the woman her mother was, the relationship they had, as she becomes a mother herself to her newborn daughter. Catalina and I will be reading from two vignettes, memories of her mother pulled to the fore as Laura looks at pictures held in the box. I will start with my English translation, and Catalina will follow reading in Spanish. And with that, two excerpts from The Cracks We Bear. 1998. Playa Santa Maria del Mar, La Habana. I'm 12 years old. My mother is in her 40s. The picture's a bit blurry. She's looking at me out of the corner of her eye, smiling, and it looks like I've just burst out laughing. Written on the back of the photograph, Laurita and me. The stories behind people's faces in childhood photos are a mystery. You see a mother in a bikini, looking young and gorgeous, with the daughter she bore, and although a rift is forming between them, the joy captured in the photo will be the final word, the irrefutable record of their happiness. I attempt to reconstruct something from the few pictures she has in her box of us together, but the photos leave gaps like black holes.
1998. Playa Santa María del Mar, La Habana. Tengo 12 años, mi madre sobre los 40. La imagen está un poco velada. Me mira sonriendo de reojo y mi expresión es la de una carcajada. Al reverso de la fotografía escribe, Laurita y yo. Las miradas en las fotos de infancia son un misterio. Ves una madre en bikini en su juventud hermosa, la hija de leche colgada, y aunque se esté formando un abismo entre ellas, esa dulzura impresa será la última palabra. Nadie podrá cuestionar la felicidad de ese registro. Intento reconstruir algo con las pocas fotos que tenemos juntas en su caja, pero las imágenes dejan lagunas como agujeros negros.
October 2003, Santiago. The grayish light of the afternoon. An impromptu table spread of coffee and cookies. 10 people seated in classroom chairs, the finish on them peeling. Esther appears gaunt with her blackened teeth and her collarbone cast in shadows. Even so, she has a peaceful look about her. This photo, the last one of us together, was printed out by her friends from her political party, and she'd tucked it away alongside the others. They had thrown her a malón, as her generation called them, to raise money for her final treatment in a community center in Macul. At the party, there was brief talk of her health, as if she were getting better. And then, over the pisco her friends insisted on opening, they reminisced about marches, meetings, and those who had died. She nodded along, chatted, and offered the occasional smile, although she was clearly tired. I paid close attention to those trips down memory lane, little scraps from images I was piecing together to discover the Esther she no longer was. But those conversations, full of gaps and silences, only made the image of her face seem even more out of focus to me. There were so many times I could have asked more about her past, but I was a coward and ran out of time, afraid she'd suddenly shut the door in my face. So instead, I was left with something of a cliché postcard of that era, which, in the end, told me nothing about who she was.
Octubre 2003, Santiago. La luz grisácea de la tarde, una mesa improvisada de café y galletas. 10 personas sentadas en sillas escolares descascaradas. Esther luce delgada, con los dientes ennegrecidos y las clavículas oscuras. Aún así, lleva un rostro de paz. Esta última foto en que salimos juntas se la imprimieron los compañeros del partido y ella la guardó junto a las otras. Le habían hecho un malón para juntar plata para el último tratamiento, en una sede vecinal de Macul. En la fiesta habló escuetamente sobre su salud, como si estuviera mejorando. Luego, con el pisco que los compañeros insistieron en abrir, recordaron marchas, reuniones y muertos. Ella asentía, hablaba, a veces sonreía, aunque cansada. Yo tomaba nota de esos pasajes de la historia, pedacitos de imágenes que iba juntando para develar a la Esther que ya no era. Pero los silencios y espacios vacíos de sus conversaciones terminaban por desdibujarme más su rostro. Podría tantas veces haber preguntado más de su pasado, pero fui cobarde y se me fue el tiempo, por miedo a que me cerrara la puerta con brusquedad. Me quedaba entonces con una postal cliché de la época que finalmente no me decía nada de esa mujer.